Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching In Search of the Self. A warm welcome to you. We are talking about Krishna and we have Shakuntala Howaldar on this episode. Shakun, welcome.
Thank you, dear.
Krishna, we're talking about Krishna, and there's a very fascinating story that I wanted to ask you. The story of Putana, the story of the ogress. She's a demoness who eats children. And she was ordered by Kamsa to kill Krishna. So can you tell me more about this story?
It is a fascinating story. And actually, I have seen the Putana story as a dance, as a Kathakali dance, as part of the Indian idea of art.
Wow.
Because the business of Krishna permeates the whole Indian consciousness. Because Krishna means so many things to so many people, as you know, Roshan. And now when you ask me about Putana, you're talking about the demoness or a person coming from the Asura background. Asura means satanic, demoniac.
So someone which is Sura from the good side, Asura is from
the bad side.
Bad side,
evil, yes. Now, she is known as a child killer. And Kamsa says, well, Putana, go and kill Krishna. And you see her coming into the village where Krishna lives as a very beautiful woman, because these demons have the power to change themselves.
Is she trying to entice Krishna?
Yes, because she has to come as a normal human being.
Of course.
If she came as an ogress or
Yes.
as a demoness, Krishna would not be going near her. So she comes as a very beautiful woman with a very beautiful, full breasts of milk. And she comes into the village and everybody is astounded because she's so beautiful.
Of course.
She looks like somebody coming from heaven.
Of course.
And as she comes to the village, you can see Krishna's mother, everybody giving way. And she goes straight into the home of Krishna.
And nobody knew that they were giving way to a demoness.
Nobody knew the evil intentions of Putana. And as she goes into the room where Krishna is lying down in the cradle, she takes the child and opens her blouse and gives the child the milk of her breast. As she is giving the milk and singing to the child, she has painted the breast with poison. Very heavy poison, so that as the child sucks the milk, he would die. But we all know that Krishna was an enlightened child. He had come to kill Kamsa and he was ready to kill Putana.
So somehow down the line we can say that Krishna knew what was happening.
I would say he was born enlightened.
Okay.
He was born enlightened, and also it was predicted that he would kill Kamsa.
So when we come to Kamsa's story, he was the king and he was very thirsty of power and he wanted to have everything.
Absolutely.
And when Krishna grew up, he started hearing about Krishna's exploits, and he felt threatened by Krishna's upcoming and rising. That's probably why he ordered the ogress to attack Krishna.
It's true, because there was the prediction that Krishna would kill Kamsa.
So when Kamsa heard of the prediction, he wanted to kill Krishna when he was still very young, so that he wouldn't be a threat when growing up.
Absolutely. Putana, the demoness who has painted her breasts with poison and covered it with beautiful brocade, and come to the village, and now she is suckling the baby, Krishna.
Yes.
And she finds that Krishna goes on enjoying the breast.
Of course.
This is the opposite of what she thought. She thought he would die in a minute.
And the poison had no effect on him.
Had no effect, and he was on and on, holding the breast and biting it. And he was sucking at the breast so hard that her life seemed to get out of the breast. It had an opposite effect on this demoness.
So instead of taking Krishna's life,
Krishna took her life. And that was the end of Putana. But when she dies, her real form manifests itself, and everybody in the village comes running, and they see the dead Putana in her real form of a demoness or ogress.
Okay,
And
yes.
this is a shock to the mother of Krishna, who did not expect the beautiful woman to be Putana, the
But-
child killer.
Yeah, but her shock must have been even bigger when she saw that Krishna killed the ogress.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mind you, as a mother, she had insights that this boy was not ordinary. He was, really extraordinary. And what was beautiful, the other mothers in the village also fell in love with Krishna. He was the darling.
He was a charmer.
He was a charmer, and he was the darling of every mother. Though he had his naughty spells, nobody could say anything to him, and they loved him. They adored him.
Would you say that by sending the ogress towards Krishna and trying to get Krishna killed, he was somehow inviting his own death?
I think he was haunted by Krishna. Ever since he heard the prediction, he always wanted to
And this is
escape.
one of the stories, and he's tried so many times.
So many stories around the question of killing Krishna. He has sent hundreds of demons. Now he tries Putana, but before that he had more demons. And after Putana also you will have more demons. So you can see that Kamsa is very uneasy, because he was a king who was evil, who wanted power, and he was very authoritative, very much of a dictator, and he did not understand that Krishna was actually God.
But did Krishna try to teach or educate him at some point?
I think Krishna knew that the ego in Kamsa was so strong that there was no way to defeat that ego. You see, because in Hindu philosophy, nobody is all bad or nobody is all good. We have the Godhead in us all. We have the good awareness in us, but it gets covered by the ego. And this is the representation of Kamsa. He's covered and covered with thick layers of concrete of the ego. And he becomes so ugly. You become an angry king, you become a dominating king, you become a bullying king, you become an unjust king. So in the Hindu philosophy, it clearly shows that Kamsa was everything that you should not be.
So one of the first missions of Krishna was to get rid of his uncle?
Absolutely, because the uncle was very negative, full of darkness, and full of ugliness.
So what was the message of Krishna by doing so?
The crushing of evil. You see, in life, you have evil and good. Sometimes you have to live with the evil. But here, when you see the evil is overpowering the good, Krishna comes and brings a balance.
Yes, because Kamsa, for him to have so much power, it was at the expense of other people, and he was very unjust to people around him.
So many people, so many people. So he symbolized injustice. He symbolized dishonesty. Greed, love of power.
Viciousness,
ugliness, wickedness. So the balance was tilting. So Krishna comes and brings the balance of life. There's good and there's evil, and there must be a balance. And this is what Krishna teaches by killing the negative, the darkness of life.
How can we relate to that in our life now?
Every day, life brings you so many things, but it forces you to reflect. You have to reflect and ask, is this the right way? Is it hurting somebody? Am I doing the right thing? Am I being just?
But we're not Krishna.
No, but we have the Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is there in you, is in me, is in the whole world. And every day you have to make these decisions. But the question is, are you fair? Are you unjust? Are you only looking at your own ego? Are you looking at others around you? So you have to understand your family. You have to understand the community. You can't go on doing anything and everything you like. And this is exactly what Krishna is against.
Yes.
And every day we have to ask ourselves, am I doing the right thing?
So we shouldn't take it to the physical aspect, but to a level beyond, to a spiritual level. And I'm quite surprised, because this is a story so many years ago and it's still true here.
You know, everybody says, NVA histoire sa, papo ena grand valeur. But if you look at the beautiful stories of Krishna and you bring it to daily life, you see there is a deeper meaning behind it, which is very, very relevant to our lives. I mean, destruction of evil. Every day there is nonsense going on in the family. The question is, are you wasting your time gossiping? Are you going to improve the situation by
Do the
keeping
right
quiet?
thing.
And sometimes you have to just shut up. You have to be very quiet and prayerful. You have to ask the Krishna in you, which is the way forward.
So at the end of the day, this also represents a state of mind that we should adopt in our everyday life.
We are at the level of reaction, vengeance,
Yes.
revenge, hitting back. Krishna says, go higher. Look at life from a higher plane and don't hit back. Instead, turn to the person and be able to give love. I think this is a great message from Krishna and Krishna consciousness. And I think you're right. It is always asking you to move higher towards the light and not towards the darkness.
Just like if one day I insult you and you refuse the insult, you know it's not true, it will not affect you, the insult comes back into my face again. But it's also a state of mind that you adopt and being wise about it.
I think it is to grow.
Exactly.
Grandir. Grandir. You are not to remain at the level of reaction and, just go on hitting each other.
Or else it will have the butterfly effect.
Yes,
Yes.
And the butterfly effect means anything you do in life will have an effect, will have a reaction. So we should be very careful that we don't bring negative reactions.
All right, Shakun, what is your first reaction when I tell you Makkanchor?
Makkanchor takes
I'm sure it brings a smile on your face.
Yes, because it is a very popular idea of Krishna.
So we'll have the public wait a bit. If you want to hear more about Krishna, the Makkanchor, or the butter stealer, please tune in next time for yet another episode.